Yeah, I can see them. Hello everybody, welcome. I'm having a little bit of technical issues. I've not ever went live on my phone before, so welcome in everybody. We have Mystical Love and Light with us tonight, guys, answering questions. If you want to say hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the chat. I'm kind of like laughing at Drew over here because she's having a heck of a time with the phone. She was like me the last time I had the phone in my hand. Oh, I gotta turn this down.
That's okay.
And so excuse her hand in front of her face on the screen. She's trying to get everything adjusted.
I'm here. That's the main thing. I had to. Wee Zach's Xbox needs an upgrade, and what he did was he turned off his Xbox mid upgrade and left it for a couple of days. So when he went back to put his Xbox back on, it's stuck basically in mid upload. So I've got my laptop down at my daughter's bit just now, uploading a forum, something or other for Xbox. You actually had to put a USB socket in the laptop with at least 8 GB to download this file to then put into the Xbox to help it. So I'm going to be down there till about 2 o'clock in the morning, I think. The file takes about 2 hours to upload. So here, the joys.
So
Hi, Hob.
welcome
Hi,
in,
Hob.
welcome in, Panka and Meg and Chasing Bones Inspectors.
Welcome in,
And
guys.
let's see, the Paranormal
Hi,
Hub
Hob.
Worldwide and
Eva, you made it.
Evelyn. Yeah.
Evelyn said she's been having difficulty making more streams. I'm so glad you made it, Eva. Welcome. Welcome in, Uncle Danny, as well. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in, Panka. Yeah, everybody, what we were going to do was we were trying to figure out a subject to talk about. So we just decided to do a Q&A, basically. If you've got it. Tell me if you're... Oh, hi, Chris. Oh, hi, Kayla. Sorry, it's because I've got this little stand on my phone. I'm missing out on names. Hi, Kayla, Moon. Hi, Sus. You made it. Yay. She's putting Velvet out, I think. Is Velvet there?
I had to run the dog out of the room because I was burning some frankincense resin earlier, and it's real strong. Velvet runs in here and goes.
I seen you do your video where you were using all the peppers and you were choking yourself. That's the you were doing it with the mortal and pestle, and she's doing this with the mortal and pestle. Don't you use a mask? I'm thinking, how are you not using a mask? And she's done it.
What happened? What happened was when I opened up that huge jar of dried peppers, and it had a seal on it. When I opened it up, I don't think you could hear it on the video, but it went poof, like that. So that the hotness in it went straight up my nose, and so when I breathe, it's like it went in my nose and in my throat. And then I was like,
yeah,
and then I had to walk away a couple of times and go.
The boys are working with cayenne pepper. We have a question. Haunted Expeditions, hi. So we have a question.
Right.
I can't see that question because I have on my phone and it is too small. So do you want to read the question out? It's from Paranormal Hub.
Question, ladies. Did you learn your craft or where were you born into it?
Ooh, I'll let you go first.
Actually, and I'm kind of the same way as you, Drew, because I have the comments on the computer, and then I have this open on my phone because it seems to be coming across my phone faster than it's coming across the computer. So everybody, if we hesitate on not seeing it, give us time to see. But myself, I say I was kind of born into it because in hindsight, I know now the things that my mom used to say and do, but she never let us know the things she could say and do. And so I feel like that kind of came from her, that I got a gift, whether it was from my creator or if it was passed down to me, but it was at a very early age, 10, 12, 13 years old, something like that. And I also wanted to say, Haunted Expeditions, thank you for coming in. Everybody, they're here in the States, and they're in Tennessee also. So if you can subscribe to her, please subscribe to her. She's trying so hard to get subscribers. I'm not quite sure how many she has, maybe
Is she
200 and
blue?
something. Get her. Huh?
It'll be blue.
You
Wait, I'll make
should.
you blue. I'll make you blue so you can share your link, okay?
Oh, okay.
No, wait, no. I've got my phone. 2 seconds and I'll make you blue.
Okay. So Haunted Expeditions too, when she makes you blue, if you wanna, anybody can just tap on your name, and it'll take you straight to subscribe. And if you can subscribe to everybody else too. And Drew, you froze up.
Yeah, I'll be back 2 seconds. I'm just gonna make her blue.
Okay. And then when Drew comes back, then she can go ahead and tell her part. But while she still froze up, I wanted to say on Haunted Expeditions, they've invited me to sometime get together with them. And yeah, I want to do that. It's got to be on a Sunday. So Haunted Expeditions, if you're listening, if you do any on a Sunday, like the free ones that you go to and stuff, I would love to join you on those. And you're welcome. So everybody subscribe to everybody, even though this is Drew's channel.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. That's I don't mind. I think you should be blue now.
Okay, cool. Let's see. So Haunted Expeditions, if you want to just say hi or something now, let's see if you're blue.
Yeah, and I'll get you after the stream.
Yeah. So yep, she's blue. So anybody wants to
Brilliant.
subscribe to her channel, just click on her name there. Hey, Stephanie is in here.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hey,
If
if Chris,
Christine might be in and we can't see her, guys. So hi, Christine. If you're
I
here.
haven't yet. I
Brilliant,
haven't.
Eva.
I haven't seen her. Okay, so Drew, your turn to talk.
I just want to say as well, guys, Paranormal Hub, we are going out on that on Facebook, right? Well, I did share the link on Facebook. People might be here from the Hub. Please understand, Paranormal Hub is a group on Facebook where us investigators has got an amazing place to share our videos, talk about paranormal, talk about strange and unknown. Paranormal Hub actually only made the Facebook group last year, I do believe, at the beginning of the year, and it is almost, I think, at 2,000 followers or something. It's a great
Wow.
place, guys, for us investigators to go over and share all our stuff, watch other people's stuff, connect to people. Definitely check out Hub on Facebook, guys. Okay, and I'm one of the admins in there, so I'll definitely get you put forward when I recognise your faces and your name, of
Susan's
course.
Susan's in here too.
Hi, Suze. Yeah, well, to answer my question, then I don't think I don't. I was never born into witchcraft and things. All my family were Christians and things like that. So any talk of ghosts and things like that, and we always would close down. My mum did like to tell us creepy stories and things at the weekend, as I've told you before. Yeah, and it is free to go into the hub, guys. So I always was interested in ghosts, ghost stories, but as I've been going along, I've been remembering a lot of things. And when I was a kid, I always used to I always used to have my bed at the window. I had to have my bed at the window, and I would sit up for hours upon hours and just look at the sky. It was actually my mum that reminded me about it last week. I always sat at the window looking out for hours and hours and hours. What I was waiting on, I don't know, but I always did that. Also, I always liked to play in the woods and things. I was never one to really. My mum had to always come and find me, and she would always find me. I've showed you before where I stay. There's the school, and then behind there, there's all the old railway in the woods. I was always in there. She always knew where to find me. So that kind of thing with the witchcraft, I do believe it was kind of in me lurking, if you like, my witchy ways. But I don't believe I was born into it. No, not unless my theory about my gran is correct, because I do believe my gran on my mum's side didn't know she was a witch, or she just didn't want to put that out there to the world. Because my gran was one of these people, she was overly kind. She always, when you felt no well, she would always tell you to come here, and she would hug you and she would stroke your head and things. So to me, when looking back on it, I do believe that she had gifts but didn't either realise them or didn't want to put it out to the world. So I'd say maybe if my intuition is real, I think it was maybe in my family and nobody really knew. But yeah, it's there in the background somewhere. So, any more
Cool.
questions, guys? Just put your questions in caps as well, and that gives us a chance to see them better, guys. Okay?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Thank you, Uncle Danny. Yeah, remember and hit that thumbs up, guys. I mean, to think about, I think, to be honest, we've all got kind of witchy ways in us. It's really just instinct. See, when you're doing things, always do it in a clockwise position to draw in good. Always do it in a anti-clockwise to get rid of. I mean, if it, things like that are bred in each human being, I think, if we were younger, to blowing out your candles to wish things. So that if you only just sit and think about it, there's a lot of things that we do as a normal human that could be seen as dabbling.
hmm Every time you light a candle, whether you got anything to do with a craft, spiritual, otherwise, if you're lighting a candle, you know you're lighting it and you have intentions even to make the house smell good, you know, which if the house smells good, everybody's happy in the house. So you're putting your intentions into it. Um, Everything that you're doing is a ritual. If you go to church, that's a ritual that you go to church. You know, the things that you say, the prayers, everything is a ritual. So like Drew says, it's just you don't give yourself titles and stuff, or you don't think of it that way, but technically it's putting your intentions into your thoughts.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, even down to making your dinner. I mean, I've said this
Yeah.
before. When you're making a meal for your family, you're standing there anyway, and you're happy making it. So to me, that's stirring your dinner and making it, putting that intent in there. Even if you're not a witch, even as just a mother, you've got the intent of making a healthy meal for your family. It's that initial intent that people like. With a ban Nightbot before he gets annoyed. Block user. Block Nightbot. The link's in the chat, Uncle Dana.
Did you see what Stephanie put? She put, being from East Kentucky, I'm a lot like Mystical. Got a lot of mountain magic in my blood.
Right. Sorry, guys. My screen's that small. If I do see it, I'll put it up. Oh, there, I see it now.
Hey, Danny's in. Danny's in the house.
Hey
Hi,
guys,
Uncle
how's it?
Dana.
Hey Buttons, how you doing, sweetie?
Hiya, how are you? I'm doing okay. I'm doing
Oh,
okay. How are you?
I'm doing all right, doing good.
Brilliant. I've been
Cool.
watching your cinemas. I've just not managed to comment on a lot of them, much like Mystical's videos, because I've been watching on the TV. But I will get round to liking them and commenting.
There you go.
Yep. I just
Brilliant.
did. I just did another one today on. I did Archangel Michael's oil like I don't know 2 years ago. So I did another one today for the candle magic when you're working with candles to call up on Archangel Michael, and what
Hmm.
chant you want to put in there. But I put it and I scheduled it for the I think the 26th or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah, guys, remember Uncle Danny's got a good few good prayers and things up on his channel right now, the Chasing Bones Inspectors one, where you can go on it, even jot them down if you're not a paranormal investigator, and it helps to keep a positive vibe in your home. If you feel maybe there's getting a wee bit, things in your home are getting a wee bit like stale or something, say one of Uncle Danny's prayers, and usually that will maybe bring a little bit of life back into your home and things. It's amazing. These prayers aren't just for when you're going out investigating, they're for an overall happy feeling in your soul, if you like. It helps to keep your mind and your energies clear, as they all prayers, but especially those type of prayers where they're for the angels, you know.
Mhm.
Hmm. Iron Fire Horse is in the house, and Three Souls Paranormal is in here.
Hey, Three
Hey
Stars.
guys,
How you guys going?
Hub has got another question. Next question. What do you ladies think is the difference between ghosts and spirits? Wow, good question, Hub.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I need to think about it. I think I would like to hear your two's answer. Is there a difference, Uncle Danny, really, between ghosts and spirits?
The way that I see it myself is I see it as spirits being like a human spirit. That was, that's from this realm here. To me, ghost can be from different realms that's never really had a human soul. That's the way I see it. I don't know how Danny sees it.
Yeah, that makes sense, though. What do you think, Uncle Danny?
Yeah, I think it's yeah, that works. I think on the most part, for the most part, some people say spirits, some people say ghosts. A lot of it is from different locations. Like in Scala, we'll say spirits, we'll say specters, we'll say ghosts, reverence, reverence, and all that. But to me, that's kind of the same way. Um,
Yeah,
I think the human side of it, that's the spirit. You see, uh, ghosts can still be human, but they don't have a belief system, right?
right.
And I think everything else, from cryptids to whatever, could all be considered under the ghost thing, right? But I
Hmm.
think spirits is are spirits mostly are things that you can
That insinuates a soul, doesn't it? The word spirit insinuates a soul.
yeah,
So,
Exactly.
it's things you can admire, right?
mhm,
Like most spirits are things you can admire.
mhm.
Ah, great! I got a honking. Hang on, I'll be right back.
That's okay, Uncle Danny. All right.
Right.
Yeah, that insinuates a soul when you think the word spirit, doesn't it? So, ghosts, you're more likely to think ghosts are something to scare you. So, therefore, you would probably get down the road of ghosts being a wee bit more deeper and darker, maybe. So, that's a great question, Hub. But yeah, I would
Hmm.
think more of like a spirit as a soul, maybe even a spirit of an animal.
Yeah.
So,
But
anything good? I don't know.
even ghosts, even though they're not from this realm, the way that I see it, my opinion, even though they're not from this realm, to me that doesn't mean that they can be bad,
Hmm.
because of, just think of the whole entire universe, the galaxies, the planets, if they're able to come through. I'm sure there's a lot of good ones too. It's just a matter of how, like Danny was also saying, how you want to see it, how you want to view it. So, and even a lot of times when I'm typing and saying things, sometimes I kind of group them all in together too, because there are so
I
many
know.
variations. And
Yeah.
even if I see something that might be a spirit, you may see him as a ghost because of the way that you see him and the way that I see him. And so I kind of, even though I think there's slight difference, I kind of group them together too.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a great question. It's something to think about. I would definitely say ghosts are more along the line of covering all your entities. Spectres.
Hmm.
I mean, Uncle Danny's channel is Chasing Bones and Spectres. So the spectres part actually insinuates something a little bit darker than ghosts, doesn't it? So there's
Yeah,
that many words, though. I mean, there's spectres, ghosts, ghouls, spirits. What else is there? There's loads.
yeah. Well, see, on a broad spectrum, right? They can all mean the same thing. But if you work in it, if you work in the paranormal, each of these things are a different entity,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's really it's such an easy question, but it's also a very difficult one. If you want to look at, are you talking about the technical, what people that work with the diocese and like the people I work with the council, the diocese, shaman industry, the Druid Society, they have certain terms for certain types of spirits, right?
So would they typically tell you then, like, Danny, you're going to be walking into a spirit that's probably a spirit, or would they tell you, like, you're going to get an investigation that might be not just a spirit but an entity? So would they tell you things like that, or would you just walk in not knowing?
Like for instance, skinwalkers, um, dogman, um, werewolf basic
All of
type.
the cryptids, all of the
Mm-hmm.
cryptids.
Well, see, but those aren't cryptids to us. Okay, in our field, that's not
Hmm.
nothing to do with cryptids. They are, but they're not. Right?
Right.
The Wendigo, for instance, used to be a
Uh,
human that made a deal with the dark side to become what it is. Right?
Uh-huh.
Skinwalkers are kind of the same. They were human ones, but with the deeds that they did and with witchcraft and someone else controlling it all, they became something else. Right? So they're cousins. Right? No, you see what I'm saying? So, like, but for on our list, okay, spirits are things like the archangels, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, um, anything that is connected to Christianity, okay?
Right. Uh-huh.
Whether it's just a human being, if that human being believed in God, he's a spirit. Now, if
Right.
that human being was an atheist, in our books, it's just a ghost, right?
Mm.
See what I'm saying? So
Yeah, you can see that. Uh-huh.
there are certain things that um, it's like you're a private, you're a corporal, you're a sergeant, what I mean, like it's kind of like
Uh-huh.
that.
Climbing the ranks for it.
Now specters, that's a good example. Okay, specters are either in betweens, right? In between, or nothing, right?
Right.
So a specter can be like a parasite ghost or noise knocker
Right.
or Tommy knocker or poltergeist, or those are all specters, right?
Right.
So each different entity kind of falls into a group, and there's usually it starts with there's one in the head group, and then it filters down to 3 or 4 other types of groups, right? But
Mhm.
they're all categorized in this group or in that group or this group, right? Now there's also where ghosts are concerned. There's human ghosts, right, which would go under the spirits group, right? Because there's all kinds of different beliefs in that section, right? A pure ghost, one that is considered a ghost, was never human, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it could be anything from a demon to something that was conjured, right? It's
Mhm.
just a ghost, right? It never had a soul. It never had a human. It never had humanity.
Yeah, it did not.
Not so much human, but it never
That's
had.
what they want to,
Had
isn't it? That's what most of them want.
it didn't have morals. It didn't have humanity.
Hmm.
Okay,
No love and light.
you know.
Yeah.
But yes, some ghosts are human, right? But they weren't considered Christians by their families. And it's
Right.
basically what their families thought they believed would put them in that category. Now, for all
Right.
the family knows, maybe he did believe in God, just didn't talk about it, right?
Hmm.
Right. So you can't just throw him into a pile and say, "Well, that's it." He
I
still,
know.
he still has the human spirit with him, right?
Hmm.
Spirits always have a freedom. That's the difference between human spirits and any other type of spirits.
I
Human spirits,
found Iron's answer quite interesting.
you go,
What did Iron say again?
even when um, even when a human spirit, right,
Hmm.
is gone from the body, it still has the freedom of choice. And
Right.
that's the main difference. If you actually look at it, that's the main difference between a spirit and any other entity, ghosts, goblins, whatever.
Yeah.
Humans and human spirits in every, pretty much, not every, don't quote me on every, but on many, many different cultures and many different beliefs, the human spirit always has one thing that none of the other spirits have: freedom of choice,
Right.
right? Which makes them separate from the rest,
Hmm.
right? So even when they're a spirit, they have a freedom of choice.
Right.
They can choose whether or not they're going to be bad and go and haunt people and drive people totally bonkers, or they can choose to try to be helpful. They
And
still
that's what most of them want, isn't it? Is to feel human for a moment.
But
When
that's
they
my
can.
belief. That's my belief, guys. So don't give the hosts any hard time over it. That's just what I think.
Iron says, I think of a ghost as something I would visually see. Spirits and soul, not visual. But what do I know? Laugh out loud. I thought that was really interesting, Iron says. Honestly, that's quite a good way to put it. Uh-huh.
And you know what? You know what, Aaron? You might be absolutely 100% right. That's about
Yeah,
my theory, really.
yeah.
I only know from what I worked, right? Like, doesn't mean I'm right. It's just
Mm-hmm.
what I worked with 50 years. That's just what I know, right? But that doesn't mean I'm right. It just means that's my opinion, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's why we all say that's the way that we see him because we all might see him differently.
Mhm.
I, the paranormal hub had a question.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it again. Where are we? Where are we?
It's right under Iron Fire Horse's comment,
Um,
and then so
it's
you
there.
had
It's there. I think of a ghost as something I would visually see. Spirits, oh no, that's iron, sorry. But I might as well
Russell.
finish it. Spirits and souls, not visual. Right, wait now to find your comment.
It's
There it's there. There it's there. What do you ladies and gentlemen think of crystals and stones to protect you?
Mhm.
I think it's that. Well, me personally, I always use my crystals. I've got tourmaline. Right now, I've got my clear quartz and my smoky quartz that I keep on me at all times. My smoky quartz goes to my right hand side, and my clear quartz goes to my left hand side. They're on me at all times just for spiritual protection, if you like. But when I go on investigations, I always have my tourmaline. It should be here somewhere, or maybe upstairs in my box, probably. I always have my tourmaline on me. So I would say it's essential. I don't know about the other two guys.
Mhm.
well, what I do is I keep my clear quartz crystal, but what I do is before any investigation that I go to, I recharge it, I energize it, I program it, and I program it for specific kind of protections that I'm going to
Mm,
be going into. And then I also keep my black tourmaline on me at all times because the black tourmaline is known to help keep away the really negative spirits from
right,
attaching to you and following you home. So
right.
I definitely believe in those, and that's what I put my intentions on when I get ready to do an investigation.
What
Daddy?
about you, Uncle Daniel?
Me? Oh, for crystals and stones. Crystal stones, a head of cabbage, a piece of lettuce, a carrot, a cucumber, a banana, doesn't matter.
Feed them.
Truth believe. Okay,
All
the truth,
spirits want to be fed. They'll
the
leave you
truth.
alone.
I got my things that I always have too, right? It's not about whether it's a crystal. It's not about being a stone. It's not about being a pendulum. It's not about being a lucky rabbit's foot. It's about what you believe. Okay,
Hmm.
if you believe that something is going to protect you, okay, if you have that belief that something's going to protect you, if you believe it was blessed by your spirit guide, your spirit animals, God, whoever you believe in, whoever your higher power is, if you believe it's been given as a gift and it's a blessing and you believe it's going to protect you, it'll protect you. If you got your mother's hairpiece and your father's jackknife, and you believe those spirits will protect you if you have these items with you, guess what? They're going to protect you. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, let's say you take me for, I don't know, a piece of jade, because a piece of jade is a very powerful thing in my way, right? But if I didn't believe in the gift of the jade and the gift of the spirits connecting to that jade, it's a piece of rock. It's nothing. Okay.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
garbage. It's not going to do nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Unless you get a slingshot, then you can hit your neighbor's head. But
Yeah. Do
otherwise,
some damage.
you know, it's all about your faith in what you're doing. It's about your faith in your intent and whether you believe the item you have. Okay, we'll do that because it's your
Mhm.
spirit and the spirit of your guides and your animals and your beliefs and your religion and your demigods and your gods and all of that is what gives it its power, right?
Mhm.
Without that, it's nothing, right? So yeah, I honestly believe in crystals. I believe in rocks. I believe in, I don't know, carrying a dead fly in my pocket. Maybe that's what But if I believe it, you're darn sure it's going to work. Of
Do
course,
you
It's
have a
like
dead fly
kids
in your pocket right
pocket.
now, Danny?
It's like kids with their security blankets, though, isn't it? I mean, it could be the lid off a cup. If that kid believes that's going to protect it and it can't go anywhere without it, Liam used to be like that with his teddy bear. But I mean, kids can do it to anything if they think they cannot go out the door without that item. So it's much like that, isn't it? I mean, you've got that much belief in this that you cannot go anywhere without it. It's that type of mentality. As long as
That
you believe it, it'll be true.
that's you putting your intent into it.
Yeah.
hmm see,
Every
well, you
sense,
also
but
got
Danny,
you've also
that's
got
okay.
your faith. I mean, don't forget, we as human beings only use like what, a tenth of our brain, right?
Hmm.
So if we could harness the belief of the rest of the brain, can you imagine what we could do? Could you imagine what would be real? It's
I
all
know.
depending on your point of view. But
See, I
that's my
always thought with holy water, I always thought you had to get holy water from the church, and that was just it until I heard you guys say, you, Uncle Danny, and others, Mystical Living Light, and others, say, with your water and things, you can bless that yourself. As long as you've got enough power in you and enough belief in you, then you can do it
yeah.
yourself. And from then on, I've never looked back.
Because you don't
after
need a third party.
after the
Hmm.
prayers after the prayers are done, like my section on prayers,
Hmm.
the next section I'm going to be putting up on the channel is called All About Water, right? And
Brilliant.
there's a definite prayer, and I use it all the time, and I make my blessed water, my holy water all the time.
Hmm.
53 years, okay? I can't speak about anything else, but I can tell you in over 53 years of dealing with very nasty, dark entities and with my holy water that I make, right? I've never had a problem, okay? It's
I
always
know. Hmm.
right. So again, it's about faith and belief. And if you believe it, and if the words you're saying, you mean them, you know, if you're saying bless this water so that I can fight bad things, but you don't believe a word of what you just said, then you guess you got
Mm.
nothing. If
Uh-huh.
say if you say bless this water because I may have to use it, and you believe it,
Hmm.
guess what? You're going to get your answer. You're going to get it right. You know. So
Mhm.
there you have it. That's my opinion
You
on
were
it.
the first person I seen do it with water cross over the spirits. I seen you, and I do believe it was Brother Joe when he was here. I seen you do it where you were pouring the water, and you were pouring the water, and then I think it was actually Blaine that was pouring the water, if I remember correctly. And
Yeah.
then Joe would say blessings, and then you would pour it again. And I thought that looks really, really amazing to do. So I can't wait to learn things like that.
Oh yeah.
Honestly.
And you know what? That's the thing. I'm happy to teach anybody anything so long as it's not something that can be used or twisted into something not good, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
Because that just doesn't. That's just not something I would do. Like I'm not going to
Mm-mm.
teach you how to make hellhound repellent. I mean, no.
No, of course not.
You
Uh-huh.
don't have that,
Hmm.
obviously, right? But blessing water and doing spiritual blessings and stuff, I'm
Mhm.
always happy to teach all that. So
Yeah,
I
definitely.
always do my own holy water. See, this is my holy water I was showing a while ago. own blessed spirit moon water also, and it's got the selenite in it also. And I do my own. The reason that I do my own is because I feel like I don't need a third person. We all have it inside us to be whole into what we are doing to accomplish. I don't want to get something from somebody else like the holy water when I don't know how it originally where it came from. I
Mhm.
I feel like since that's a third party, I want to do it myself because I know what intent I put into it. I know my belief system that I put into it. I know the protection that I put into it. And it's going to work for me because it came from deep down in me, in my soul, in my body, in my spirit, in my brain.
Mhm.
And it's going to work for what I need it to do, to
Exactly.
accomplish.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I got to answer Jackie's question up here, Evie's. What if they're all like, oh, they're Celtic? Well, that's it. I'm going to be a ghost when I'm done, right? Because I'm Celtic, right? No, the question being asked is also the location, right? So here, spirits are going to be Christian or
Uh-huh.
Christian oriented, but not so much Christian as belief in God, right?
Right.
It's the belief in God. So, like myself, nature druid, shamanism, the creator God, uh, the God of truth, the white God, Jesus, the Lord. It's all the same guy. You know, it's the belief in the
It's
higher.
the energy, isn't it? It's the
Yeah,
God energy.
it's all about the
Mhm.
energy. So yeah,
Hmm.
no, it doesn't matter that in that way, Evie. They're still spirits. I mean, if you look at it, if I guess a better way to say it is someone of good heart, right? Who doesn't try to hurt other people, who always tries to be walk a certain path, does things really, and has a lot of truth, light, love, all that. What
Mhm.
I don't even like using this word, but what the Christian's supposed to be. Because
Right.
I don't believe in that. I don't like labels, but I'm just talking about what's on the list
Hmm.
at the, from the council, not so much, you know. But yeah, so the belief in God is the key for it to be a spirit. And the other main thing is you got to be a human being. That's
Right.
it, right? And it's something that you look up to. So that's basically. It's not all black and white. It's just that's why I say it's a hard question. It's an easy one,
Hmm.
but it's also a very hard question because it depends on where you are, what culture you live in. There's so many different
Different
aspects.
roads into it. In and out it. It's like when you say spirits and when you say to people that you're going to talk to spirits and then you're going to talk to spirit, it's two different things as well.
Yeah,
Spirits is the spirits, which is your ghosts and things, and then spirit is like what Uncle Danny's saying is like your higher energies, your God energies, your angel energies. So you just drop that S.
yeah. It's all
Oh,
just
yeah. It's basically in what you see it like as well. I mean, some people, Christianity and things, a lot of people have got the belief in Christianity, the core belief in it, but it's changed that much through the years that you have to actually put your own interpretation in it now because there's that many different lines of Christianity. I mean, you've got like your different churches now. There's about four different kinds of Christian churches for a start. You've got your Baptist churches as well. There's about four or five different roads into them. So there's that many different religions these days. Is
yeah.
is is it plausible to follow one?
No, I can't. You're right, paranormal hub. Absolutely, that is the answer to your own question. It depends on the individual beliefs. Okay.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing with religion, in my opinion. Okay, it's just my opinion again. No, you can't follow one religion. Well, you can, but now I'm going to ask you a question. Do you believe everything that you're being told? Do you believe everything in that religion? Right?
No, rightly no.
Now, here's the thing. You say
Mhm.
you believe in a certain religion, but you don't believe Well, I gotta come up with something quick. Think brain. Oh no, squirrel, bat, rat, cat, cow, whale. Okay, so if you don't believe that a human being can be swallowed by a whale and survive and go across the ocean and be ejected onto another land, if you don't believe in that story, right? So now what you're saying is you're gonna believe what you choose to believe as true.
hmm
So
That's how there's that many different
you
religions.
believe in that religion. No, you don't. You believe in your own religion.
hmm
If you
Yeah.
don't believe in something, okay, to say, okay, yeah, I'll believe in that when you don't is bullshit.
I
Plain and
know. Why do
okay?
people do that? It's crazy. They
Because
try and stick to a religion that
you
they
know,
don't believe in.
it's not just one religion, it's every single religion around the world. There's a
hmm
lot of things that people don't believe in their religion. Okay. They question all the time certain things in their particular religion, which is normal. Okay. Perfectly normal. Right. But the idea of it is your own personal religion. Okay.
hmm
We weren't made with cookie cutters. We're not all the same. We're all different. Everybody's different. And it's those differences that give us strength.
hmm
If we were all the same, well, who'd give a shit? Right.
No, it'd
But
be a boring place.
each and every one of us are different. That's what gives us the strength. That's what gives us the strength in our belief. We have to believe what we believe, right? And if you believe in something, nothing's going to change your mind about it.
hmm
If you don't believe in something, guess what? You ain't going to believe in it until it's proven to you somehow, right?
I think
Until you,
that's why it's important to have
until you experience
morals.
it,
Because
right?
religion takes you down a crazy road. So
Right.
if you've got your own morals, you're
If
basically got your own religion.
you don't have to believe everything that you hear, okay?
hmm
You don't. But if you believe truly in the things you believe in, that's your religion, okay? I can go to any church anywhere, and you could have 10 people sitting in a row, and I can give them a blank sheet of paper with one question, okay? Do you believe the saints can help you? That you should pray to them, okay? And I can give that piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, ask one question, okay? Two or three of them might say something similar, but none of them are going to give you the exact same answer,
Right.
I
right?
have
'Cause
a I have a saying that I always stick to. I always say religion separates people, but faith brings them together. Because everybody's religion thinks theirs is more important or theirs is right over someone else's. So I
hmm
see it that religion separates them and faith brings them together. Because if you have faith, that's all that matters
hmm
because that's what's going to bring everybody together.
Yeah,
That's what I
I
see.
agree with that. I agree with that to a point. To a point, I agree with that, right? But it's not the religion that's separating the people, okay? It's the teachers of that religion that are separating,
But they listen to the teachers,
right? But
therefore
it's not. It's
that's
right.
right.
You see what I'm saying? It's not. It's because they get a stick up their ass that this is the only truth, right?
hmm
Well, you know what? No, that's
Welcome,
your
ladies and gentlemen.
right? To me, it's like, no, that's your truth. And for you, it's absolutely right. And I applaud you for it. And I give you my respect. Whatever you believe in, I'm perfectly happy with. Okay.
hmm
And if you believe it, and if you're going to the bank with it,
Mm.
and if you're living what you believe, you have got my total respect. And I don't care if it's you believe in a head of cabbage in the garden. I don't care what you believe. Okay. If you
hmm
believe it, you live it, and you're honest with it, then you have my full respect and my full support, right? However, in saying that, I'm going to believe what I believe.
hmm I think that's all you can do as human beings. You've got to follow your own values and your own beliefs
Hmm.
and don't let anybody else sway you on them. I think that's where all these crazy cults and things come from because it starts off on morals and some people's values, and then they start adding religious aspects to it to gain more followers. And then before you know it, you've got about 3 or 4 different religions mixed up into this cult,
Hi, Lady Raven.
along with people that's got mental health problems, and then it spirals out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Hey,
answer haunt. Oh, I was gonna answer
Well, you
haunted
go answer it, sis.
expeditions.
hi, Lady Raven.
Yeah,
Okay.
My,
answer the one about the crystals.
Yeah, I
my
was just
one
gonna
thing.
say the way that I charge my crystals is I put them out in the direct sun to charge them because I want them soaking up that full energy so that when I go on my investigations, so because spirits will suck energy out of everything they can get, I want to make sure that I am protected, that mine are fully charged. That way they can't pull anything from me. They want to pull
Did
it from
you
an
do it the
instrument I
sun and
have.
the moon then? Do you
That's
do
a
it
good
the full
Huh?
idea.
24 hours?
That's a good
What?
idea. I agree with that. That's a good
Yeah. Do you do it the full 24 hours then, like the sun and the moon?
I
Um,
think where you're going with that button is there's one thing to remember, no matter what religion you're following, and this goes for everybody, right? If in your religion you can't make any decisions on your own, it's not a religion you should be hanging with, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to have your own opinion. You have to be able to have your own. It has to sit comfortable with you, right? If it's something that's
Mm-hmm.
totally in your way off the wall, something that you can't really live with, then that's not for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you can't
Yeah.
live with it, if it's something that's bothering you to the point where it shakes your foundation, you know, then maybe you should look for something else.
that's
What
right.
I
It's
do,
not that. A lot of it changes as well. A lot of
Yeah.
their beliefs
You
change,
you
which
yeah,
is
have to
exciting.
think.
I
Yeah,
think the
you
main
have to
thing
think
is,
for yourself.
yeah, I think the
Yeah.
main thing is for me. Look, I'm not one to say what religion is best. I got some of my beliefs come obviously from Christianity, some of it obviously because I'm a shaman, some of it obviously because I'm a pastor, some of it obviously because I'm a nature druid. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like my religion is my religion, right? I'm happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything in my religion that I can't use.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not useful, don't absorb it. Absorb what is
Yeah.
useful. Absorb what is useful for you, what makes your spirit feel satisfied, what makes your soul and your mind feel, yeah, okay, I can live with this, right? Um, that's my opinion on it. Now, I could be
Yeah.
totally right. I could be totally wrong. But for me, I have to believe what I believe, period. And after the things I've seen and the stuff I've fought and things I've gone through, you know, I'm pretty secure in what I believe. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with what I believe. Am I
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't know. Am I on course? I don't know. I'll find out sooner or later.
See,
But for
that's the thing. There's that many different religions and many different beliefs that we've
you
got the
know,
freedom of choice to believe what we
yeah.
want to believe.
For now, I'm happy with it. For now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with what I believe. Right. In the hereafter, I might have said, "Oh crap, I really screwed that up." Who knows?
Next time we'll do it differently.
Because that's above my pay grade, right? That's
Mhm.
way above, I don't know, right? So in the hereafter, I might go, "Oh shit, I blew that one," But until then, I'm quite happy with what I believe.
You make your own decisions because you're gonna answer to them yourself.
Well,
So
that's it, isn't it? You got to come into the world alone and you give it alone.
yeah, you can't
So
say he told me, she told
it was her fault.
me.
Her fault.
Yeah,
No, that way. That was her fault.
yeah.
His fault. You can't do that.
Right. In the dark era, a lot of people believe the devil or the dark. How do you stand on it, please? Huh? Okay, here's a simple answer. You don't need demons or devils to see horror from mankind. Okay, you don't. They don't need to do much. Just a little push, and you're there. Um, yeah. I mean, I believe there are some very nasty. I don't like using the word demons, so let's say evildoers. That's why I look at them. There's lots of evildoers. Okay,
Hmm.
some human, some non-human, some.
I think they just didn't have a deeper deeper understanding of it way back then like we do now. Now we know about demons and things. Maybe back then they didn't know.
And the question itself is kind of misleading because until 2,000 years ago, nobody believed in the devil because
Hmm.
the devil didn't exist. That's a Christianity thing. Okay, when God came, God said the evil one or the tormentor or the misguided devil and Lucifer and all that didn't come out until much, 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 much later, right?
Right.
So it's relatively the devil and all that kind of stuff, demons and everything else, weren't really discussed except it came out within the teachings of the Christian people. In other religions, they had different names, right?
Hmm.
So for me, I don't tend to say the devil so much. Like, okay, yeah, there's probably an evildoer who would fit right in that slot, and he's
Yeah,
the
the
devil.
devil was just the word they used, wasn't it? Everything was the devil.
But
Hmm.
to me, that could be Rakara, right? Rakara could be easily considered to be the devil, or Rodchin could be the devil, or Solus could be the. You know what I mean? Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's that
Yeah.
many of them. I
Yeah.
think
My only answer to that.
the
My only
research
answer to
wasn't
that
there.
question. Okay. My only answer to that question is whatever you conceive in the light. Okay. If you can conceive a loving God that cares about human beings, okay, flip the coin over because there's going to be one who hates human beings and wants to destroy them all. Okay.
Hmm.
Everything has two sides. So if you believe the truth of the light, okay, if you're saying, oh, the light is true, the light is true, guess what, jackass? So is the dark because if it wasn't, you wouldn't have the light to worry about, right? There's two sides to everything. You cannot believe in God if you believe in God per se and not believe in the devil because you just eliminated the need for God if there's no devil, right? So it's all about, hey Lee, how you going? It's all
Eileen.
uh, it's all about what you conceive, right? But just think of a quarter, think of daytime. Now we got
Hey,
night.
honey.
You got wet water. You got dry land. You got green trees. You got dead trees.
Yeah.
Everything has an opposite, right? I got a front and a back, and my backside is that way. But the point of the matter is, there's two sides to everything. So if you believe in one side of something, then guess what? There is the exact
And they
opposite.
wanted to put that fear there as well. That's why they used these names to put the fear into people, you know?
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
something that's been since mankind came out of the gate. Since the woman of the caveman said, "Hey, take out the garbage, quit being lazy," and he went outside. He looked across at the other cave, and here was the other guy,
You devil.
and he's got the garbage can. They looked at each other, and the one looked at the other guy and goes, and back and goes, "Uppa." And the next day, this continued until finally, the guy came outside, looked across at the other guy, and went, "I'm gonna go back." And the other guy said, "Yeah, have a good day." And that's all. It just grows
So,
from there, right? So, yeah.
See, the way that I see it is everybody, like, okay, when they get scared, when they see something or they feel something or they're doing a paranormal investigation and they see a shadow or they see a movement or they feel scared, they're automatically going to be, there's a devil. Or somebody's
mhm.
going to want you to go to their house because they're like, there's a devil in here. The word gets used so much that there's very seldom ever devil itself
Yeah,
if they believe that there is such a thing as a devil, which yes, I believe that there is. No, I don't believe that they're in everybody's houses that's being haunted. They use the word too much. I
yeah,
believe that even when they say there's a dark spirit, we go in ourselves and come to that conclusion, as far as I'm concerned, it may be something in there, but they're not used to seeing spirits, so or anything. So it's going to be something bad or something evil because they're scared. Their adrenaline is running high, and they're going to be like, there's something in here, and it's going to try to kill me. It's, this and this and that. But if they settle down and get a hold of themselves and think about it, okay, so what are you doing? What are you hearing? Sometimes if they hear disembodied voices, they may misinterpret what they hear, because sometimes they just may hear one or two words.
Mm-hmm.
If they're scared, they're automatically, it's like seeing a snake that's this big, but when you tell your friends it's this big, it's because they're scared and they
Mm-hmm.
don't really see the perception correctly. So, therefore, I think a lot of the bad stuff they're seeing, or what they're calling a devil or a bad entity, isn't necessarily. Now, yes, there are some really bad entities that I've run across, but that's because I've already done the investigation and I see what's going on and what they're doing. Because a lot of times it doesn't mean they're bad if they're opening cabinets and stuff. They maybe for a year they try to send you little things and you never seen it. So it's like, well, heck, I'm gonna have to slam something to get their attention. So sometimes they do that to get your attention. It doesn't mean that they're bad. So I
Absolutely.
think it's thrown out there just too much.
Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, of course it is. You
The
see,
word
and
booming as well.
here's the reason for that, okay? Because there's a very simple explanation for that. Now, a lot of people blame it on TV. A lot of people blame it on ghost shows. A lot of people blame it on whatever. And well, okay, sure. No. See, the common belief used to be, I've been in this business long enough to know a couple of things. And one thing was the only spirit that was believed and allowed to be presented was it had to be sent by the devil or it is a demon. And that goes back as far as the witch trials. Okay? The demon is within her. The devil is within her. It goes
Mhm.
way back before I started. It goes back to the 1400s, right?
Mhm.
Because they did not believe, because the powers that be said, no, no, human spirits don't do squat. They just wait till they go where they go. They can't, do nothing. They can't pass wind or anything, right? Human spirits can't do nothing. So any type of spiritual activation at all has been programmed, okay, in the people, okay? We have been programmed since the 1400s that anything spiritual that happens that's not of the light is of the dark, okay?
Mhm.
If they want to believe that, I'm okay with that, okay? But I don't see that, right?
See, it's not just a fear factor, though, isn't it? It's just a
It's
fear
all about
factor
fear.
using those
Yeah.
words.
It's all about fear, and the fact that someone's different says, like, leave myself. When I first started all those years ago, I said I see ghosts, and I was put in a nut house, right? Had a leather
I
jacket.
know.
I had a jacket that was so. I got out myself. It was so nice. But anyway, I digress. Okay, so going back to, I believe not everything is a bad demon. 100%, I believe that. I believe 90% is just the human spirits trying to get attention because they're terrified. They're scared. A lot of them don't even realize what's going on. A lot of them do realize. But let's look at it. Let me just throw this out there and see what you think about this. Okay, so I'm a human being. I die. Right now, I'm dead. I can still see my house. I can still sit in a chair. I can still lie on my bed. I can still do everything that I used to do. I can touch the table. Okay, yeah, sure. I can walk through the table as well. Walk through walls and stuff. But do I exist anymore? Am I
Mhm.
am I even alive? Do I exist at all? No, you're like that for 10 years. Okay, it's getting worse. Nobody has even noticed my existence. So do I exist?
Mhm.
20 years. No one's said boo. No one's jumped. Nothing. Do I even exist? You slam a cupboard and someone goes, what the hell was that? Holy shit. They noticed
Mm.
I must exist. I slammed the cupboard. They heard it. That proves I do exist on some form or another, right? Now they're as curious as you are. right?
That'll be what ramps up the energy then. That'll be what ramps up the activity. Once they get that connection to know you've seen them or heard them.
You know,
Some of them don't even know they passed.
right, and I think a lot of the
That'd be
time,
sad.
I think a lot of the times the hauntings are someone simply wondering, do they really exist anymore, or are they a figment of their own imagination? Because
Hmm.
nothing else sees them, nothing else talks to them, nothing else notices them. Okay,
Everything else is the same.
maybe another figment of my imagination came over and says, "Hey, you want to go for coffee? Sure, let's go." But in the physical realm, there's nothing, right?
Well, Uncle Danny, what about your coffee? You wouldn't be able to taste your coffee. You would surely know you were away then.
Exactly. See?
Hmm.
See what I'm saying? So,
You'd be so confused though, wouldn't you? I mean, think about it. Your first hour of being deceased, you'd be like, am I dead? And you'd be trying to light a fag and a cigarette and things. That would be scary.
yeah, you see, and that's what I'm thinking. You know, that's what I think a lot of the hauntings are, is they are afraid. Do I exist? You know,
Hmm.
simple thing, which makes something is the awareness of whether or not you're alive, right? Or whether or not you exist.
Yeah.
You're not even sure that you exist. Where does that put you, right? And
Hmm.
I think a lot of hauntings, from my experience anyway, not written in stone, but I think a lot of the hauntings, and certainly a lot of hauntings I worked on, was confused spirits. You know,
Hmm.
people that are confused and like, what's going on? I mean, some of them, there were a lot of cases where the person alive who was alive was an asshole, and he's still an asshole, so he's causing asshole problems, right? They're still bad, obviously, right? But there were people who were very nice and gentle and kind, and now they're slamming doors and they're knocking down lights and they're blowing out candles,
Hmm.
not because they're trying to be mean, because they're trying to be seen.
Nah.
Right?
Exactly,
Hmm.
because the little things that they've done prior was never noticed.
Hmm.
Okay, Meg,
So,
sorry,
so,
bugs.
so they
Yeah.
have to extend more and more. The opening and the closing of the doors, and stuff like that. Because not all spirits, and I'm speaking from the point that since I see spirits,
Yeah.
good, bad, little kids, grown-ups, animals, figures that you can't even describe, that's not even human, and a lot of times they can't manifest a form for you to see that, so they use other things to try to get your attention,
Right.
because like I was saying a while ago, some of them don't even know that they've passed.
I
and
know.
and it may be, since there's no time when you pass, they don't go by time. To you may seem like a year, to them it may be just immediately that they're trying to wonder what's going on, where am I, am I alone, what can I do to get somebody's attention, to ask them, things like that. So people don't think about, things like
See,
that.
these spirits that's attached to something then, do they know that they're attached to an item? Will they know that that doll it's because they can't pass over, for example? Will they
Some,
have an understanding of that?
They would
some
have
of them
had a
do,
good
yeah.
connection to it.
Some,
Right.
some of them know they are, right?
Mm.
Some of them know they're attached to that, right?
Right.
Others don't. I mean, there are some
Mm.
that don't realize it, right?
Right.
The ones who attach themselves to stuff usually have a reason for doing it.
Mhm.
Okay, some are attached just because they passed on, they didn't realize it, but they still want to pick up their favorite doll, or they want to play with their favorite truck, or they want to whatever, and so
Uh-huh.
obviously, they're still going to be around it, right?
Right.
Some of
Because they're
them,
attached to it.
right? And
Well,
some,
they're figuring out a way then to take it to the other side with them.
I don't know. I suppose so. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe.
but to me, I mean, there are different types of attachments. Some are by
Yeah.
accident, right? And some are on purpose. And it just depends on the state of mind of the spirit, whether or not that attachment is accidental or on purpose, right?
Have you ever came across a spirit that's asked you to unattach it to an item?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I have it.
No, that's interesting, isn't it? So they didn't want to be attached anymore.
No, because they tethered themselves. They tethered themselves to a particular item, right?
Mhm.
Because when they did it, well, I'll give it. One guy who was like 50 years ago. He attached himself because he was so afraid of what was going on. So he tethered himself to his motorcycle. Okay.
Right.
Well, of course, over the years, the motorcycle got rusty, everything else. Nobody was driving it, blah, 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 whatever. But he didn't realize that he needed to actually tether himself to where he wanted to go, or actually tether
Right.
himself where he's supposed to go, right?
Right.
So it came and left, sort of a deal, right? And now he's been so long in this area, it's not that he can't see it. It's not that he can't find it. It's that he's closed his mind off to it. Because
Right.
he can think about is I'm stuck here with this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
When and basically all I had to say to him was, well, let go of that. He goes, what? I said, the only reason you're stuck here is because you tethered yourself to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just release it. And then turn around and see what you want to go to next, right? Because there will be something else to attach to. Now, whether that's the location that you're supposed to go to, or a different item, or a different whatever.
Right.
If you release that one, if you take your umbilical cord off of that one and just attach it to whatever else you want, and this time tether yourself to your future, you know.
Right. So
Uh,
basically, you take off that and put it right onto, like, say, heaven or something, for example.
whatever it is, yeah. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden, that's where you hear the expression, "I see the light," right? Or there's the door, because now they've got a future.
Right.
I don't believe. No, I could be totally wrong. I don't believe that seeing the light means you're going to heaven.
Right. Uh-huh. I
I
think
think
it just
seeing
means
the
they're
light.
passing.
I think seeing the light is the next step to where I'm supposed to go.
Right. Like a doorway.
It's a doorway to your next step, whatever that is. Now that
Mm.
could be heaven, that could be
I, Danny, I did a whole video on that subject, and that is exactly right what you're saying. You're going up to another level, to another dimension, another realm, another whole, whatever you want to call it. Now, heaven may be up here, but there's obstacles that you have to go through and things you have to
thank you,
make
hon.
right. You know, you have to make certain things right. And if you passed away, if you had Alzheimer's or all of that, you have a healing process to go through in order to be able to get
Ascend.
yourself
Yeah,
cleared. Yeah,
Right.
and as far as the light goes, I don't believe the light has always been the light that we know it today to pass through.
It's just a
And
symbol, isn't it?
everybody has the option, but a lot of bad evil people that were bad evil people here on earth that like to do the murders and killing and abuse and all of that, they're not going
Mhm.
to want to go up higher because they
No.
want to stay here and
Mm-hmm.
continue doing what they did when they were,
well, yeah,
living.
I,
And
I,
most of
I,
them
I
find a
agree with
power.
all. I think in some cases there's different levels. I think in some cases
Hmm.
you got different jobs to do as you go from one spot into another.
Yeah, watch my video. That's what I'm putting. I put in that video.
Mhm.
But that's the thing, you see, that could be absolutely spot on, and I think it probably is, right? But then again, just like everything else, we don't know. We That's just what we believe, right? And I think if we believe it, so it becomes, right? It's like what you do here and now, what you believe here and now is where you're going to go to directly after you leave here, right? If you believe you're going to go to heaven, if you're 100% sure and you 100% believe it, your spirit is going to go to heaven. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. If you
Mhm.
think, well, I hope I go to heaven, I hope I go someplace good, you're probably going to end up someplace good.
Yeah.
Like you think, I think 90% of where we go first is where we believe we're going to go first.
You make your own heaven and
Yeah.
earth.
Right. You make your own destiny now, right? Now, when you get to that next place, my opinion is you're going to make your own destiny now again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And that's a very good point, Aaron. I believe if people who honestly believe in reincarnated, I believe that, their souls go to the big soul school in the sky. And when some other spirit cannot take this form or take this child because that spirit's sick, then, they ring your bell and say, hey, if you want to, you can jump this one.
We've been reincarnated many, many, many times.
Yeah.
Maybe
Hub's
not.
got another question. He's asking a different line here. I don't know or can't confirm there is a shot of poltergeist that's quite strong and angry and can maul you. Has anyone heard of this entity?
I can tell you about. Don't let me lie here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4.
There's a lot of entities that can do evil to you and hurt you
Right.
and scratch you and bite you and stuff like
I
that.
can
Those
think
are
of 8 offhand.
8? Wow.
That thing. Race for one. There's 3 types of race that could do that easy. So yeah, there's all kinds. And don't forget too now, a poltergeist becomes an entity unto itself, right? 'Cause a poltergeist can't do nothing until it's its own self. So even though a poltergeist can be created by emotions, beliefs, fears, all that stuff, not until it is aware can it do anything.
Yeah, it's good to have the awareness that it's actually doing these things, isn't it? Even if it's created by man's energy. It's got to form its own thing.
Once a poltergeist is created, it's just like anything else. So you create a poltergeist, you create a baby. First, the baby has to be able to roll over. So does the poltergeist. Then the baby learns to crawl. Guess what? So does the poltergeist. It's all steps in learning. Now, a poltergeist learns 10 years in 1 month, where a baby learns day by day, right?
Mhm.
But it's sort of the same thing. Once it's created, it's energy. It's energy is live, right? So it's energy. So it's going to learn, and the more it learns, the more it can do. So,
So say I created a poltergeist because of whatever. Does it mean that it's only me that can get rid of that poltergeist then if it's me that's created it, even without knowing?
no,
No,
Doesn't
could somebody else do it? Right.
doesn't work that way. Poltergeist cannot be gotten rid of. They cannot be destroyed. Okay.
Right.
Poltergeist is made by high emotions. Okay, and
scared
90%
adrenaline, high adrenaline.
90% of it has to be negative emotions, negative adrenaline, negative this, negative that, right? The way to tone it down, to bring it down, is to fill that same space. It doesn't necessarily have to, you can move over, leave the poltergeist there. It's not going to, right? New family comes in, and there's nothing but love and kindness and joy and happiness, and that starts filling the house, which the poltergeist now learns about that stuff. So
Right.
it's the change, right? The poltergeist itself will change because of love, because of kindness, because
they can't live in that energy, so they have to
Adapt.
conform to it. They
Right.
can't be
So does that
evil
mean
in
they
a
come
loving
good
home.
then?
right.
That's why
Does
they
that
try to separate everybody in the home so they
They-
can continue.
Right.
Right.
Take it a step further. Take it a step further. Okay. So they become a positive energy, right? But
Right.
it splits. Okay. It gets to the point where the poltergeist splits into a bunch of places. All of a sudden, now we have wisps.
Right. Right.
Where do you think the wisps come from?
Everybody's energy.
It comes from everybody's positive energy.
Right.
So now you've got it's the energy's still there. The energy's never gone away. It's just changed.
Who's changing?
Different, right?
Right.
So, and please, everybody, this is just my opinion. Do not hassle these women because this is just my,
I'm gonna put you in a jar.
yeah. So we put
I don't know why she said that.
So, it's all about the energy and the energy changing into different things, right? Because energy doesn't die; it just changes.
Right. You
Runs.
can adapt it.
You
That
get adapt.
makes sense though when you think about it, doesn't it? So basically you can't really get rid of it, but you can tame it down and maybe teach it new ways.
They cannot.
Paranormal
They
Hub
cannot.
said.
Yeah, they cannot
Paranormal Hub
continue
said.
that.
Right.
Paranormal Hub says, "Oh my God, I dyslexia. I don't know
I'll
what it
find it,
says.
Uncle Dan, and I'll pull it up.
What's he reading?
Wait till I find it and I'll put it up.
Yeah, I'm dyslexic. I can't read half of what's in the chat. I can only read parts of it.
Yeah, wait, I'll find it,
I
Uncle
know the
Dan.
paranormal hub's got one in there about snakes.
Oh my God, I'm causing a discussion.
Oh, that's what that is. Oh, that's
We
good
love you
though.
being in chat, Hub. Come more often. We love your
Yeah, come
questions.
more often. You cause all kinds of chaos. That's wonderful.
Ask
Oh
us
boy,
anything.
Yeah.
beautiful, Daddy.
He's got another one in there about this, about snakes also. Do you believe in psychics, mediums, empaths, etc.?
Yep.
I
I'm
do
just
because
gonna.
I'm an empath, and
Well,
I've been told
yeah, haunted.
I'm a psychic, but I don't believe that I am. Because the stuff that I know or see is brought to me from my spirit. The same way when we were talking about the different dimensions and stuff, that's my spirit showing me all of this. But I don't consider myself a psychic or a medium. An empath, yes, because oh my God, I don't even like being around crowds or a lot of people because I pick up everything. And sometimes if I touch somebody, I learn stuff about that person I don't even want to know about.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Hub. You are definitely sensitive, but
I
I would think you're a physical sensitive, not an emotional one or
do you
spiritual.
think that's true? I am asking. I believe people with Alzheimer's and dementia, etc., are already experiencing the spirit world. Do you think that's true?
Of course they do.
Aye,
Of course they do.
brilliant.
Yeah, of course they do. Because now they see
They
energy.
probably see spirits and things then when you get to a certain stage of dementia.
Yeah, they'll see the energy. So
There's that question there. May I go a different way again? Snakes and the myth, especially giant anacondas being gods. What is your theory?
oh, that's a good one. Yeah, they're gods to the people that believe in them. Okay? If they believe that the anaconda is a god, then guess what? They're a god. And if you mess with it, they're going to put you in a pot and cook and eat you, and then you're done. Right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, they're not a god because it's a snake.
Yeah.
Again, it's about faith and belief and what you believe in, and it becomes reality.
I mean, there is a few goddesses and things that's had snakes. So, I mean, I don't know if some of them have had maybe extra large snakes like anacondas and things. So, I wouldn't say it's no impossible, to be honest, because I do know a lot of the goddesses have got snake energy with them.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And don't forget, okay, about the energy itself. If enough people believe in something, it will be produced. It's just like what we are just talking about. Noisy ghosts there.
So it's like religion, isn't it? Religion starts off with a couple of people's beliefs. So
You think Medusa wasn't real? No. Medusa, right?
Have you ever
Definitely.
came across Medusa, Uncle Danny?
Because millions of people believed in her, right? How could she not be real? How could some energy even refuse to grab on to that? Okay? Oh my God, if I become this energy that everybody believes, I'm going to have instant power.
Right.
Guess what?
Have you ever came across
Real
Medusa
now.
yet?
She's real now because some energy said, oh, hell yeah, I'll take some of that.
Yeah.
Now me with the snakes, I might have a little bit different take on it. No, I don't believe they're gods. Let's get that one straight right out there. But as far as snakes goes, since I have no fear of snakes, and I feel like snakes have a bad rap. Okay?
Yes,
They have a really bad rap. Since we were children and going way back in generations and generations, We were taught with the Adam and Eve thing and the snake thing and the apple thing and all of that. I don't believe in none of that because I believe that we were used to fear snakes so that we could be controlled in a way that they wanted to control us and to believe. But to me, snakes are no different than any other animal. They have their good deal on them, they have the bad deal on them. But I don't think they're gods, but I do think through all of history that they have had a bad rap all together.
But there is good snakes and bad snakes, though, isn't there?
Okay, so you think about the snakes and about like say like like the medicines where they show the two of them like this on medicine bottles. I'm trying not to use the word the big P. Okay, so that right there is like our DNA. When you think about it, so there's something in there that they're not wanting us to know or to learn or to pick up on. So they want us to believe it's bad.
Right.
That's the way that I see it.
Uh-huh.
Well, I was with you right up until you went to the conspiracy part. Well, yeah, I know. Up until the conspiracy part, I was 100% in agreement with you. I think snakes got a bad rap and whatever.
Yeah, they have.
Really, I'm not sure it was an apple or a cherry that someone ate and got them in trouble. I don't know what happened there.
Don't know the story.
I was just trying to use that for an example of how they were trying to put that in.
Oh, yeah, and I agree with you. I agree with you on that aspect. But fear is a very important part of religion, right? But see, again, you're talking about the quarter. There's two sides to it. Yes, there's the fear factor part of it. Okay, there has to be, because there's so much good side on the other side, right? So if you do this, or if this happens, all this good stuff's going to happen, right? But everything has an opposite, right? So even in religion, you're going to have nothing exists without two sides. Nothing. Right?
So everything has two sides.
Everything's got to have two sides, and then there's the center, which is another thing we're not talking about today. But anyway.
A little bit in the middle.
Hello.
Yes, interesting. Iron Fire says, what are your thoughts on telekinesis and moving objects?
Last time I thought about it, I got hit in the head by a cup.
Well, I used to try and do things like that. I've never tried it for years, but I'll keep doing it, Iron Sis, and I'll see if I'll let you know if it ever works, okay? Have you ever tried it?
I think, honestly, if you, because I've done some little bits with it, like I haven't been able to move a hammer, but I have moved a pencil, I've moved a piece of paper, but it's not telekinesis like they do on TV. It's just you're pushing forth your chi energy. If you can harness your chi energy, you could push a truck. Okay, I honestly believe that. But the discipline that you would have to have in order to do that, and when I say I moved the pencil, I mean it vibrated just like a. Did I do that, or was that just I have no idea if I really did it. And same with the piece of paper, I could have breathed too hard on it, and it went. I'm not saying I literally did it, but I tried to do it, right?
Right.
So I, but I really do believe that if you could harness your energy, you could push a truck.
Yeah.
And the training that you'd have to do in order to do that. I mean, wow, I couldn't do it. I ain't got no chance. Because
what do you think?
I like this is what happens, okay? I'm gonna move my wallet, squirrel. Oh, look at that.
I get distracted.
so I'll never be able to do it, But,
me either. I talk too much.
But then again, the other side of that, of course, with telekinesis, things like that, that's the power of your brain, okay? If we could harness the energy of our own brains and use we got like 9/10 of it we don't use anyway. If you could harness that energy, well, yeah, telekinesis is a snap. You know. Now I got to go back to the jar.
Okay, so my take on it is, and people can do this.
I gotta go bathroom.
You know
Okay,
how
Uncle Danny.
like when I'm working on stuff and I'm doing workings and I'm putting my energy into it and I show on camera, when you get that energy built up. Hey, Phoenix is here. When you get your energy built up between your hands, your fingers, and you can feel it throbbing and you can feel it building. Okay, and everybody can try this because you can get really good at it. You make that ball, you picture that ball in between, that ball of energy. You picture that light, that ball getting brighter and brighter, and you're packing it
Yeah, I
tighter
can do
and
that. I
tighter.
can do it with energy.
Okay. When you get really good at it, you can make it to where it is so tight
I can move it.
that you can actually throw it at something and break it.
Right. See, I can
Don't
sit
do
here
it in your
baffled
house
and
because
move
you're
it around.
yeah. Don't do it in your house because you're going to break something in your house. But if you're outside, you can actually do that because I've done it for so long and I can make it and it can be tight and it can be bright and my fingers are they're just tingling
The first
with
person
the
I seen to
heat.
learn to do it was Lady Grave Dancer, and she told us to do that, and then we could do our energy. So I've been practicing it for years, and that's what I use when I do my candle magic. That's how you'll see
Mhm.
me do that, guys. Is that's me putting that energy that you can manifest. Sister's right, because as soon as I do that now, I can feel it, and I
Yes.
don't need to do
And
the
yes,
static.
and you picture it being really tight. You're packing
Mm-hmm.
that light, you're packing that energy. Because what you are projecting from here into here, you are making it happen. And when
Mm-hmm.
you get it tight enough that you can actually have control, it's like if you were holding something and throwing it and it's going to shoot out of your
Yeah,
hand.
you feel it. Because when I do that, it feels as if I've actually got a ball in my
Yes.
hand.
Yes.
Practice
Yes.
it, guys. Honestly, anybody can do it. Really, you just need to feel that energy, and that is what we're talking about. Is like you can draw it as well. I can draw it to about here, and I start to kind of lose it about here.
Mhm. The
Yeah, about
same
here.
Okay, and the same way when you have that ball of energy, you can also use it and you can bring it in and you can hold it against you and you can imagine that light, that ball of light, that energy healing your body, and you can also use it for healing that way also. I've done that many of times. And you use
I
that
can
ball,
tell
that
you
light
all.
of energy.
Well, I can tell you all now, seeing as Wally's over it, but when Wally was no well there the last couple of weeks, that's what I was doing. I gave him time to try and get over it, but he wasn't really getting over it. So when he was lying sleeping, what I was doing was I was putting my hand up to like raise it to the gods and ask for strength, if you like. And then I was taking this hand and that energy that Sister's talking about, I was doing that on the back without touching him, doing that on his back and it clearing the energy. And in this hand, I had the intent pushing that light into his lungs and clearing everything. And I would say within about 3 days, he'd keep him doing that every night. You get much better. And you could
Mhm.
feel it in your hand. Your hand gets
Yes.
heavy. If you know you're
Mhm.
doing it correct, your hand gets really heavy and you have to throw it away and then come back.
And the
Do it
reason
again.
when you say you're throwing it away is so that you're not keeping that sickness. Lee
Mm-hmm.
has been sick on his truck before and couldn't even drive anymore. He was so sick. And he would call me and I would tell him to lay down, to just to lay down and not to move. And then I would start doing it and picturing in my head because knowing every inch of him, and I would start healing him without actually even being there, and I would tell
Right.
him, when I finish you're going to fall asleep, and when you get up in the morning you're going to feel like you were never sick. And he would call me up the next morning first thing and say, I'm all better, thank you. because he knew that I did the prayer and could do that and heal him with him long distance, in a
That's
far
because of
away
the
state.
connection.
Yeah.
It's amazing you can do it for a distance, isn't it, really?
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't. I think it was about the third night or something. The next day, he's not even coughing anymore. But that's what I did for about 3 days there, and it really works. Honestly, you don't. If you've got any doubt in your mind, don't try it. But it really does work, guys.
That's right,
First
because
world life
you
up
have
to
to know what you have to know, that what you're doing is going to work, and there's a reason that you're going to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't doubt yourself. Just know it's working, and that's it. You know.
Hmm.
Hub is saying, full of unconditional love for others, even the tiniest of creatures, caring to the point of putting others before themselves, putting their own health and happiness. Yeah, Hub, I get it. Truly. The Hub's, honestly, you need to join the Hub on Facebook, guys. It's an amazing place, honestly. People go in there and share their videos, they share their channels, they share their experiences. Loads of things, honestly. I've actually got Uncle Danny in it and I've got Mystical Love and Light in it as well. It's a great place to share your stuff, guys.
Hmm. Hug,
Well,
paranormal
Carmelo,
hug.
have you just described me? Any more questions, guys, before we go? Because we are at an hour and a half. Getting tired. I've still got wee Zach's computer to go down and upload the other file onto it.
Well, there a couple people is subscribed to Haunted Expeditions. Good.
Brilliant. And I'll do it after the stream. Phoenix is saying, I haven't tried it long distance, but I did it to my husband. He
Had back
was in
pain.
pain.
He had back pain. Yep.
Back pain.
Yep. You can definitely do it. Yep.
I don't
Yeah,
really.
me too, Eva.
Welcome back.
Yeah, of course you can have another question, Hob.
Another question.
You've already used your 20. Has he put it up yet? Has she put it up yet?
No, it's a him. His name is Michael.
Has he ever put it up yet? I never know with some of these names if it's he's or she's.
No, it's hard to tell.
At least I don't call Stephanie Stephen.
I know, like Chris, he's terrible for it. Our poor Stephanie.
If Chris was in here, he would know what that one is about.
Yeah. Was poor Stephanie Stephen every time.
Let's see, I'm scrolling too to see if I see any
Brilliant.
other.
That's great, Phoenix. Definitely subscribe to them. And you're welcome to come in if you see us live, pop in all the time. Haunted Expectations, honestly. And we'll get you shared out. All the other guys are here.
Living History Mysteries was in here too.
Is he here, Drew, too? Here.
I said I do them earlier.
There's only half of the people here tonight, Expectations, so definitely come next time.
Everybody hit the like. Everybody hit the like for Drew.
Yeah, make sure you clap the thumbs up. Or you'll get put in a jar too.
Yes, logo in jars or fridges, the freezer.
Iron Fire Horse says snakes are pretty dangerous for real. Well, if you don't play with the.
They can be, you know.
Yeah, if you don't play with the danger, the ones that's gonna bite you. See, my grandpa, he was a holy roller. He handled snakes in church. I made my communion as a Catholic. I've been baptized as a Baptist, and because of my mom and my dad, and then I spent a lot of time in the church with my grandfather because he was a holy roller. So I guess that's why I don't fear snakes.
I said that to you, didn't I? I said that'll be why you don't fear snakes. It's because you've always been around them. I'm terrified of them. I've never seen one. I've seen one once.
Really, one time. I've been around hundreds.
Oh,
I tried to catch a snake one time that it was stretched. The tail end of it was a 2-lane road, and the tail end of it was off one side. You couldn't even see it, and the head was off the other side. And I tried to catch it,
You know,
Tell her to stop.
that last little stretch there was like you were on turbo or something. Holy shit! Go down, I got me.
And what was funny was because that was when my late husband, when he was alive, and we were driving down an old dirt road real slow. And at first he stopped because he thought it was a stick. And then he realized it was moving. So I opened the door and I jumped out. And I said, oh, I got to catch it. So I jumped out to run to it. And he rolls his window down and he's hollering, don't catch it, don't catch it. So I'm yelling back, stop talking to me, because I'm trying to catch it and he's distracting me. He's like, get in the truck.
Oh, keep your snakes, sister.
Hey, I gotta say, I want Lee with this one. Okay, I'm with Lee on this one. Leave the damn thing alone.
Yes.
Well,
please.
see, it was my late husband at that time. But Lee, he don't like snakes anyway. He made me promise the guy the guy next door, he has an old shed falling down, everything. He had a lot of snakes in there. He asked me if I would go over there and catch them. Please.
How would you like it if you're crossing the street? How would you like it if you're crossing the street, minding your own business, and some jacked up snake on? I'm gonna catch. You know, like what the hell were you thinking? Okay.
I think I wanted to catch it. But now the one next door, Lee made me promise to not go over there and catch them.
Yeah, don't do it.
It comes running at you. You know, is that person on drugs? What the hell? Leave me alone. How would you like it if a snake did that to
Snakes
you?
are good for the mice. Leave the snakes alone.
For God's sake.
I've caught copperheads. I've caught rattlesnakes. I've caught every kind of snake there was. You know, my son always.
I'll bet $1 to a donut that every snake you caught did this.
No, its tail was flopping around trying to smack me, trying to get me to let it go. My son always said, Mom, if I ever hear that you're dead, I'll know you got snake bit. That's what my son used to say.
Well, I'll tell you what. If a snake ever decides to come and grab me and pick me up, I'll be born my tail shaking. I'll tell you that. I'll be that first snake, leave alone. You know?
Yeah, Lee don't like snakes at all either. He's like, every good snake is a dead snake. I'm like, you better not kill that snake. You leave that thing alone.
No.
Every good snake is the one that stays the hell away from me. That's.
I agree with that.
You know.
I don't know if this is Hub's question. He's saying, Phoenix, the belief is resurrection, but if you believe old fables, it does resurrect, but not with aspirate. What do you think? I don't know if I'm reading that correct, guys.
Well, I was reading it with you, and I'm not understanding. I think some misspelled words in there, so I'm kind of not understanding the question myself.
Yeah. If you want to try it again, writing it again, Hub.
I don't know what that is.
Phoenix has said, believe in resurrection and definitely believe in spirit. I see them as shadow unless they want to reveal themselves. I'll see them in human form.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, the main thing is Phoenix understood it, and that's who the question
That's what the question is for. I understand. I have taken turtles off the road to help them on their way safely. Important to take them in the direction they are already going. All right. Or they turn around and start crossing the road again. See, I didn't know that.
I did that one time, yeah. And the turtle was this big, and when I picked it up to take it to, because it was going across the road, so I jumped out, I picked it up to take it across the road to where it was going, and the thing pissed. I didn't know they pissed like that. It pissed and it shot at me and went all the way down.
I can tell you why. Because that turtle was talking to those snakes and said, "Watch out for this crazy demon that comes around and picks you up for no reason." Right?
Fiona.
It wasn't a little. It wasn't a trinkle. It was like somebody turned a faucet on. It just sprayed right at me and all down me. And I was like,
what do you expect? turtles only go so fast. You come up, pick them up, and all of a sudden they're flying. They're gonna piss themselves.
Oh, wait a minute. I seen turtles going to the sea, and this thing was not slow. Honestly, the thing was like, it wasn't slow. This thing got into the sea. Believe me, it was fast. Oh, my face is swell.
Now that turtle went and told the squirrel, "Watch out for this lady. She'll scare the piss out of you." You're getting you're getting a reputation, young lady.
I never knew that they would do
Muggins,
that.
near snakes or turtles. Leave them alone.
Takes the turtles down the squirrel. Now you see the squirrels run across your yards. Quick, protect your nuts. You know, and then, no, the kind they eat. What were you thinking? Hey, protect their nuts. And they go and they get to the tree quick because otherwise they might get picked up. And
Is there any other questions?
Is there any more questions, guys, before we go?
Paranormal Hub says Earth angels are highly evolved spiritual beings, usually having many of the following qualities: sensitive, gentle, lighthearted. What's her name? Tony on Haunted Expeditions. She had said earlier that she was told she was an Earth angel.
Right. It's a great topic. We could maybe talk about something like that next week if you want. Next Thursday we can do more of these type of things if you want. Would you be interested in that, guys? Getting the three of us up next week, talking much the same topics. Just going down the rabbit hole, if you like.
yeah, but make sure you wear protections and because you're going to get put in the jar.
Yes.
Did Paranormal Hub ever ask his one more question? He said, "May I have one more question?" Did he ever ask it?
Did you ask your question, Hub?
Did we miss it? Or was that the one that? No,
I think he was talking to
Phoenix.
Yeah, I think Phoenix. Grab a stick. What did she say? Grab a stick. If it's snapping turtle, it will bite onto it instead of you, and you can lead it. They move faster that way. All right.
Yeah, and you're not on the back end of it for it to pee on you.
Phoenix says, okay, I think that's for Hub. The Phoenix and the Black Wolf that was given to me by my beloved Uncle Danny when I was going through something that nearly killed me. Yeah, Phoenix. Well, guys, if there's no more questions, it's that time of night, I'm afraid.
Yeah, an hour and 42 minutes. It's been good.
Been a great night, guys. We'll definitely do this next week. All right, okay. So the Phoenix is resurrection, but does it resurrect with your spirit?
Yes, I can answer that for you.
Yeah.
Every time a Phoenix resurrects, everything it learned from the first time comes with it.
Right.
And the spirit regenerates with that knowledge and then starts to learn again the second time.
It's actually quite a good spirit animal when you think about it then.
Yeah, because it collects knowledge from the ages. That's how it transfers spiritual knowledge. So as it's many times as it resurrects, it's picked up all that spiritual knowledge and it brings it to the next time. Right?
Brings it with it. Brilliant. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the stream because it is 12:15 here in Scotland and I do need to go back to my daughters and fix the wee man's Xbox for him. So I'm going to thank you all for coming in and all your questions. They were amazing. And we'll do it again next week if you want. And Hub, you're always welcome to come up with us. I've told you that before. You're welcome to join us on screen anytime you want.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
What she said. No, she said.
I know, it's like to do the dance.
Remember, subscribe to each other, everybody. And I'll do it after the stream expedition.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody, for coming in.
Oh, remember, we will be on Mystical's channel again on Tuesday. We are interviewing Christopher and Dakota. So definitely check that out, guys. That's going to be really interesting. So I'll see you all then. Bye for now, guys.
Yeah.
Everybody stare at the camera so they think that we're gone.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah. Yeah, don't move.